Welcome back to Arnaud, round 8 of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship. My name's Paul Melling, you join us live, but we're going to go behind the scenes and look at the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team.
In MX1 we have Tommy Searle. He is runner-up MX2 from last year with us, so we take him to do 450 this year. We are very happy about his result. It takes some time to adapt the category, but it's coming better and better, so we trust on him to be on the podium before the end of the year.
We're nearly halfway now through my first season MX1. It's been up and down, you know. It started off all right, had some good motors, and then I broke my finger a couple of weeks ago, or months ago. And then that's made it hard for me to ride and stuff, but it's all right, you know, it is what it is, and hopefully I can get some more better motors towards the end of the year. I think I'm 6 now, so, you know, obviously I want to be top 5, and that's what we said at the beginning of the year, but I just want to take it race by race. You know, this year is my first year and it's a learning year, so where I finish at the end of the season isn't really a big deal to me. I just want to get some motos, like some good races, and get on the podium and build my confidence up and work on that, my strength and stuff towards next year.
In MX2 we have Alexandre Lupino. He made his first podium in Bulgaria, so we are very happy about this. So he need to start better, because now the start is very important in MX2, and he have to improve his start for this year.
The first part of the season was not easy for me. I mean, I started in January when the training was getting better. I broke my shoulder, and from there I lose a lot of time of training. After Balket I was getting better, and then in Arco di Trento, in the start, the first moto, I broke my ribs, and yeah, it was again bad for me, bad luck. And the week after I want to go so fast and make my first podium ever. I was so happy, but my physical condition was not good, so I stopped with the training with the bike 1 month. It was really hard, and then after Brazil, I go back in Holland, and they 2 weeks of really hard training, and now I'm back strong.
The second rider in MX2 is Arnaud. He had an injury at the beginning of the year before starting to ride with our bike. To manage the situation as well, we take Jimmy, the coaches, to replace Arnaud. So it takes some time to adapt to the European track, because it's very different from the US. So coming better GP after GP, and we hope that we can be on the 10 first rider. Should be good.
It's been good. At first, it was definitely tough. I think when I came here, it was from riding Supercross. I don't think I was in good enough shape, fit-wise, and riding outdoors enough to be fully comfortable with everything and the big change in the longer motos. But ever since Brazil, I started working with Willie, who's Lupino's guy that he's been working with, and you know, we all know Lupino's fit. He's charging last 2-3 laps. So I've been kind of doing what he's been doing, and you know, more cycling and almost not as much riding, more of just training off the bike to get fitter for the motos. It's almost like an uphill battle, because of coming in here, I don't think I was fully prepared, which is my biggest thing. But other than that, the whole experience and the way I've been riding has been okay. It's not the best I've been riding, but I mean, I'm doing all right, and during the week in practice, I have some pretty good days. So just trying to bring that to the race is almost one of the biggest things for me this year.
Qui est la seule radio à offrir la Formule 1, bien sûr, en intégralité. Tous les essais, tous les Grands Prix sont retransmis sur RMC. N'hésitez pas à télécharger les applications RMC et RMC Sport sur votre smartphone. Et bien sûr, pour retrouver toutes les fréquences, eh bien,
Tony Cairoli will start from pole position this weekend after cruising to victory in his qualifying race yesterday. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and Xavier Bourg came home second and third to record their best qualifying positions of the season, with Ken de Dijker fourth, Evgeny Bobryshev fifth, and David Guarneri on the Marchetti Racing KTM recording his best position of the season in sixth. Then it was Tommy Searle, Rue Gonçalves, Clément de Salle, and Max Nagel who rounded out the top 10, with Gauthier Paulin, who made it very difficult for himself, more than his fair share of crashes this weekend, just little falls here and there and a bad start as well, but he was on fire this morning in morning warm-up. He was about 3/4 of a second quicker than the rest of the guys, and I was just watching that lap as he put it together, and he has definitely got out of bed on the right side this morning, and who knows, Gauthier Paulin could be challenging for a possible race or Grand Prix victory here this afternoon. Kevin Strybos came home in 12th on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World Machine, and then David Philipparts on the Garibaldi Honda was 13th, ahead of Gregory Aranda, riding as a wild card. He's riding 2.06 on the Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. Then Milko Potazek on the 2B Yamaha was 15th, Cedric Subarat on the Honda, Fabien Isouard, Nick Oban on the Build-Base Honda, Casper Lingard on the JK SKS Geben Yamaha, and Dennis Ulrich, the German, on the KTM was 20th. Another wild card in the way of Charles-Francois Lecliance, take us to 22nd, and Sean Simpson on the TM Ritchie Racing Machine had a big crash down the final hill over the finish line jump, ended up in the barriers, was down for a decent amount of time, but he eventually picked himself up and walked away, but was a non-finisher in 23rd. Likewise, Jonathan Barragan had a big crash after here, actually, going over the triple. Then it was Alexei Gaudry, Matis Caro, Santu Tienin, Mikola Pashinsky, and Joel Roulant. And just like we saw in the European and the MX2, there were a lot of penalties given out yesterday by the FIM because riders not respecting waved yellow flags. It's basic information that you get when you first ride a bike. Wave yellows, no overtaking, wheels on the ground, and there were a lot of incidents of that yesterday. So guys that were penalised were Alexei Gaudry, Matis Caro, Santu Tienin, Mikola Pashinsky, and Joel Roulant, who all lost positions as a result of that ruling. There's Clément de Salle. He's had 2 weeks in the US after Brazil. Maybe still suffering a little bit of jet lag, but he'll be looking to try and get a decent result here as the 15-second board goes up, and the crowd get up as well. They've had their beers, they've had their burgers, and they're just there standing up because it's going to be a wall of noise here as that 5-second board gets hoisted up. The heads go down. There's Gauthier Paulin with the prize-winning helmet from a fan he's wearing this weekend. The fan will get that helmet back at the end of the day. But down the start straight, and it's Tony Cairoli, like he did yesterday, sweeps across everybody to pick up the Get Athena Whole Shot Award. Matis Caro right at the back, number 91, but de Salle in 3rd place. Van Hoorbeek in 2nd, Gauthier Paulin in 4th, and Guarneri in 5th. Ken de Dijker in 6th as they come over the big tabletop, or the triple jump now it is. But Tony Cairoli leads the way. Van Hoorbeek 2nd, de Salle 3rd, Paulin 4th, looking for a way through early in the early stages. De Dijker just here, number 9, but he's already been passed there by number 120, I think that is Cedric Subarat, and maybe even David Philipparts, number 19, yeah, up the inside, look. So heading uphill, there's Tommy Searle in red on the green Kawasaki, number 100, so he's got a lot of work to do. As Van Hoorbeek tries his best, number 89, he's a guest on my MX Live TV show at 2:15 this afternoon. First, we'll have Elliot Banks-Brown on the HM Plant KTM, and then Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. So get your questions into Twitter, via Facebook as well. Go to the MX Live TV website to find out more information where you can do that. But Clément de Salle there in 3rd. Gauthier Paulin, 21. He's in 4th at the moment, the factory Kawasaki rider. Then Ken de Dijker at the top of the hill in 5th. He's found a way back past Guarneri, who drops to 6th and wasting no time here on his home Grand Prix. Gauthier Paulin charges down the inside of Clément de Salle. Well, if de Salle wasn't fired up already, that'll certainly stoke the fire in his belly. As he cuts to back to the inside, he's going to dish it back out. Gauthier Paulin will wish he'd not gone round there like that on the opening lap, because that's definitely going to get these people wrapped here as we go downhill for the first time. Over the line then, Cairoli, Van Hoorbeek, Paulin. There you top 3, de Salle 4th, de Dijker 5, Guarneri 6th, Philipparts, Subarat. That's down to 7th. 8th is Subaru, Gonçalves 9, Borg 10, Aranda 11th, Bobashev 12th, Searle 13th, Isouard 14th, Strybos 15th, Simpson, Roulants, Lefrancois, Loic Leonce and Max Nagel. A disastrous start for the normally fast-gating German. He's down in 20th on the Honda World Motocross machine. Barragan is 21st, Dennis Ulrich 22nd, Milko Podisek is 23rd as De Salle jumps short on the triple. Kasper Lingard, Santu Tienin, and then Nick Oban down in 29th place. But Gauthier Paulin going after his teammate Jeremy Van Hoorbeek here. And Kai Rowley, well, the first lap of qualifying yesterday, Gauthier Paulin made a terrible start, and after the first lap, Antonio Cairoli was already 14 seconds clear of Gauthier Paulin, who was down in about 10th place at that time. Just goes to show how important a good start is around this circuit, but certainly Cairoli not that far ahead of the Frenchman this time around. He knows he can take the challenge to the Italian. Oh, thought he was down then, Clément de Salle, who we're on board with. But he's in 4th place. Nice line there, tiptoeing his way through, throttle controlled, absolutely imperative. What you can't see is how steep and uphill and off-cambered that corner is in the background. A replay of the start. Tony Cairoli directly in the centre of the MX1 logo on the podium. Takes a look over his shoulder, his trademark look. See how much room he's got before he comes across to Salle. And a good move, actually, from Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Don't start at the inside of Cairoli in the hope that you might get a good start. Go to the outside, because you can lean on him as well as everybody else backs off. But this is a move. De Salle thought he had it covered, but look at that. Just straight down the inside. Gauthier Paulin wasting no time passing. De Salle trying to fight back there, though. That was in the left-hander just before the finish line turn. But Cairoli disappearing at the front of the field. Van Hoorbeek there, 89 in second. 3rd here in the white arms. Gauthier Paulin, then the yellow Suzuki. Clément de Salle, he's in 4th place as he gets over the Monster Energy triple safely this time. Then Kenderdijker losing the toe in 5th place. Then Guarneri 6th, Philippot 7th, Gonçalves 8th, Subaru 9th, Gregor Randa is in 10th position. But tell you what, Clément de Salle not letting Gauthier Paulin off the hook, is he? Just made a mistake in that bottom left-hander just a moment ago. That's given Paulin just a little bit of breathing space, but we know how hard de Salle will charge. We saw that in Portugal before he had that big crash on the penultimate lap at Agata. Still managed to bring it home, though, and score some decent points, did the tough Belgian de Salle. Tony Cairoli was the fastest man on track that time around, a 1:53.5 compared to the 53.9, 53.8 and 54.3 of the guys behind him, Van Hoorbeek, Paulin and de Salle. Tommy Searle now in 12th place. Simpson 14th on the Ritchie Racing TM. As Van Hoorbeek takes a look over his shoulder, sees his teammate coming through, makes him go around the outside. Pretty difficult for those two through there. But down the inside, Paulin goes 2nd. But it was almost a wave by, wasn't it, there from Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. He knows his teammate is probably a little bit stronger and faster. So why fend off the challenge and upset your teammate, who is the team leader, of course. But Paulin now has a clear track to go after Tony Cairoli. What will the response be from the Frenchman? These two were fast this morning in practice. Both guys hitting all the corners, turning like they were on rails yesterday. And he had a nice line actually coming down the finish hill, did Paulin. Right down on the right-hand side, turned off the bank early, cut right across the middle of the apex of that corner there in the background, and then drifted out to the bank as de Salle goes through into 3rd place at the end of the start straight. So Van Hoorbeek now drops to 4th, right into the clutches of another Belgian. So we've got Belgians in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Starting with this guy here, 25, de Salle. They are the 3 big hitters in MX1. Tony Cairoli there, disappearing. He's got about 3 seconds over Gauthier Paulin in 2nd. De Salle is 3rd, Van Hoorbeek there 4th, then de Dijker, then there's a big gap back to David Philippots in yellow on the Garibaldi Honda. He's in 6th. Guarneri on the Marchetti Racing is 7th. As we look on board with de Salle, he charged down the inside of Van Hoorbeek. Didn't really give him any room, look, because he went all the way out to the markers on the left-hand side on the jump at turn 2. So Guarneri is in 7th place. Gonçalves 8th on the Ice One Racing KTM. 9th is Cedric Subaru on the HDI Honda. 10th is Gregor Randa on the Bud Racing Rockstar Kawasaki. He's riding number 206 this weekend as a wild card. Normally rides number 20, but 2:06 this weekend, as Tony Cairoli making it look pretty easy on the big step down. Remember, that gap was about 2.9, but the fastest man on track last time as he charged into second was the guy who's just disappeared out of sight, Gauthier Paulin, on a 1:52.9. He was about 4/10 quicker than Tony Cairoli that time around, and that was the gap that separated them in morning warm-up this morning. But De Dijker all over the back of number 89, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, might find a way through soon as well. Really coming into a good bit of form, actually. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek since Portugal, as they drop downhill over the finish line. Here's De Searle, still there in third. Van Hoorbeek for De Dijker, buries that KTM 450. Just get it lent over in that dust burn through the right-hander, but not able to stay on the rear wheel, but he has a nice line there, cuts through to the inside, but Van Hoorbeek keeps it nice and tight. It's making his fellow countrymen work, that's for sure. For the second lap running, Gauthier Paulin is still the fastest man on track, but only by 1/10 of a second this time, but that gap still 2.8 seconds between Antonio Cairoli, 2:22, our race leader on the Red Bull KTM, and Gauthier Paulin, the Kawasaki Racing Team member, the factory rider, of course, for Kawasaki. He's in second place. Third is Clément de Searle on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine. And fourth is number 89, Van Hoorbeek, on the second of the factory Kawasaki's, and fifth here, the Red Bull KTM of number 9, Ken De Dijker, who just seems to have lost a little bit of ground in the space of a couple of corners just there to Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Then we've got the Garibaldi Honda of David Philipparts in 6th, ahead of the Marchetti Racing KTM of David Guarneri in 7th. Rui Gonçalves Ice One Racing KTM is in 8th. Xavier Borg jumps up on the inside of number 34, Joel Roulants. So Borg has been off the bike because Roulants was down in 16th position. So Xavier Borg back from injury. Oh, Bobryshev, no, Max Nagel up the inside, sorry. So really in the thick of it is 121, Xavier Borg. So too Joel Roulants and Max Nagel. Nagel now up into 18th position, maybe even 17th, after a potential mistake there from 121, Xavier Borg on the Ice One Racing KTM. Simpson is 15th, Tommy Searle now up into 11th. Not easy to pass around this circuit, but yeah, that was Nagel taking two riders as Borg and Roulants decided to fight over a position. That was A71, Fabien Isoire, the former European Supercross champion, in the background as well. Barragan fighting back as he tries to get past the Monster Energy Yamaha of number 34, Joel Roulants. So we've got 4 laps complete. Paulin still the fastest man, fastest lap of the race so far. 2.4 seconds now, the gap between them, but lower down the order in 16th position. We've got Tommy Searle going up the inside of Aranda. Charges his way through into 10th place now, Tommy Searle. Great piece of riding from the Brit. So Tommy Searle gets his head down. Said in his team report at the start of the programme, not really where he finishes at the end of the season. Actually, it's about getting the experience and getting more good races under his belt, but he would love to finish top 5 in a championship, of course. That would be the aim. There's Evgeny Bobryshev, 777. He's in 12th place at the moment. There's Kevin Strybos just behind him on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Number 22, all over the back of him at the moment at the top of the hill. Through the tricky little left, through the ruts, over the slight little camelback, into the waves. You can see how tricky it is through there. Still, inside line, the order of the day, hard and slick, rocky, loose, difficult to get on the gas. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Max Nagel has gone from 18th to 14th and is closing in on this battle here that involves the 22 of Strybos and the 777 of his teammate, Evgeny Bobryshev. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, though, 89, oh, out of shape, coming out of the left-hander. De Dijker tries to show him a wheel. These guys battling over 4th place. De Dijker going to run it wide into the berm, gets that KTM laid down deep. He'll do the same again in this final corner. Tries to cut up the inside of Van Hoorbeek. This time he's got the legs in, he's up the inside of 89. Van Hoorbeek tried to come back across, but he controlled it well, did number 9. And De Dijker goes through, but Van Hoorbeek going to fight right back here. Oh, this could end in tears, guys. Come on, Ken, turn right. So De Dijker stands up Jeremy Van Hoorbeek in the right-hander and eventually goes through. Had to be an aggressive move, though, didn't it? Nice work from Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, I'll ask him about that in our studio show at around about 2:30. He'll be joining, well, about 2:20 actually. Watch this, De Dijker hanging off the side of that Red Bull KTM number 9. He's already on the brakes, he already knows what's going to go here. He's got half an eye on the corner, half an eye on Van Hoorbeek, who tried to get through. He immediately responded. But then, talk about making it obvious. Ken De Dijker fought right back, both guys kept up right. Be interesting if they're on the Motocross Nations team at Teufelstal at the end of the year, wouldn't it? Former teammates, of course, so I'm sure they know each other well. They'll laugh and joke about it a little bit later on. But Tony Cairoli, only 1.9 seconds clear now as Strybos tries to go up the inside of Bobryshev. They continue to fight over 13th. Up on that ledge. The first of the ledges. A mistake from Bobryshev in the end allows Strybos to go through. So Kevin Strybos on the number 22 Suzuki now finds himself in 13th place. Nagel's gone past the both of them, and he's the fastest man on track with a 151.9. And look at the gap here between Cairoli and Paulin. 1.1 seconds, but it doesn't look like that, does it? Said this morning, Gauthier Paulin seems to have got out of bed the right side this morning, and he's definitely going after Cairoli. Listen to the crowd here. They only won one result this weekend here in Arnaud. And that's for that guy, number 21, to stand on the top step of the podium. Cairoli making a mistake there. Look, coming out of that tricky left just before the finish. That is a good camera angle, actually, because that highlights all the loose crowning rock, the hard, slick surface that the riders have got to battle with to get up into that short little burst to the final corner. But Cairoli seems to have weathered it, pulled the pin, just like he knows he can. He'll do enough just to open that gap. Remember, 1.1, the gap as they came over the line, and Cairoli already set in the fastest sector of the race in Sector 1, 34.0 compared to a 34.8 of Cairoli. So already pulling out a little bit of time there on the number 21 Frenchman, who currently sits there in second on the factory Kawasaki. But look at that time there. Max Nagel was the fastest lap just a moment ago of the race. 151.9. compared to the 53.5 last time around of our race leader and the 52.6. So 3/4 of a second quicker. Oh, that's the back end getting out of shape of Gauthier Paulin, number 21, right after Cairoli himself made a mistake. But look at this, locked together again, wheel to wheel, as they drop downhill for the 7th time. Paulin setting his personal best time in the second sector, 39.9, but Nagel going quicker, 39.3, and he's coming through the field in 12th place. But these two here, they are setting the pace at the front of the field as they battle for first and second. Cairoli 152.4 and a 52.6, so that gap 1.3 now between Cairoli and Paulin. Searle 4 seconds down in third, De Dijker 4th. Van Hoorbeek, wait for him to come over the line in 5th place. Philippart sees a little bit further back in 6th on the Garibaldi Honda, but at the moment, Gauthier Paulin here, number 21, not having an answer for Tony Cairoli. But having said that, for 6 years that Tony Cairoli has won world titles, not many people have, certainly in MX1 as well. Won a world title every year since 2009. Has the number 222 Sicilian. Massive crowd favourite, big draw, a lot of fans here as well, even though we're here at the French Grand Prix, the home of Gauthier Paulin. Nicely out of the corner. On board with Cairoli, taking a look back. That's a view of the crowd when they look back. A couple of fingers on the clutch, just in case. Couldn't quite see Gauthier Paulin from that camera angle, but if you look back now, you probably could. Tony Cairoli, because the Frenchman is right on the rear wheel. I know these two will be enjoying this race. They like a good battle, these two. Great atmosphere out there. These are the days that the guys like to get up for. Atmosphere, crowd, tension. Look at that. Great auditorium for him in which to perform. De Searle still only about 3 or 4 seconds off these two guys. Turning out of that left-hander nice and early now. Oh, look how quick Tony Cairoli was through that right-hander. Just got on the power really, really quickly. 1.3 the gap before. Last time it's now 1.2. So still eking away at that gap is Gauthier Paulin. How hard and slick it is. They drop back onto the start straight. Running all the way out to the outside. Trying to maximize that traction and forward momentum as they sweep through turn 1 into turn 2, over the couple of jumps, the plateau, then the tabletop. But Cairoli, Paulin, nothing in it between those two really. De Searle doing his best to hang on in third, De Dijker fourth, Van Hoorbeek is fifth, then it's Philipparts, Guarnieri, Gonçalves, Subera, Tommy Searle just a second back in 10th. On board with Clément de Searle, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 rider. He's in third place, still 3 seconds down on Tony Cairoli, and Gauthier Paulin just ahead of him. He's had a busy schedule the last couple of weeks, as the Belgian. Back marker just ahead of them. 215, Casper Lingard. But he's back here, his mind is well and truly focused again on Europe. And the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship, Ken de Dijker struggling there in fourth place to close down on the Suzuki of De Searle. But he's done a good job of breaking free from Jeremy Van Hoorbeek in fifth there, in green in the background. So Van Hoorbeek, he has a nice 8-second cushion in which to deal with or work with. That be in his favour because David Philipparts is next. Then we've got Tommy Searle going past Max Nagel. So Nagel coming under the cosh. He has been the fastest man on track so far. But Tommy Searle wasting no time. In fact, Nagel closing in on Tommy Searle. So Searle, 100 now. He's going to feel the wrath of the red Honda. Max Nagel, who was a double race winner here in 2009 in MX1 when we came here last. But not getting his usual good start in race 1. Just under 16 minutes remain. MX1 race 1, round 8 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the French Grand Prix here at Arnaud, just west of Le Mans, north central France. Tommy Searle here, number 100 on the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, has just been passed there by number 12, Max Anstey on the Honda World Motocross machine, but Searle fights back. These guys fighting over 9th place after both picking up bad starts, but look at the response there from Nagel. He was a 2-time race winner here in 2009 when we last visited this Arnaud circuit. Takes a look over the shoulder the wrong way round, and Tommy Searle springs another attack as he goes high and wide, gets the power down on that Kawasaki and keeps hold of that 9th place. Oh, Nagel charges hard up the inside, but just is enough to stay out of the foot pegs of Tommy Searle. Crossing from one side of the track to the other. The fastest lap of 1:51 from Max Nagel still stands. And at the time he did that lap, the leaders, Tony Cairoli and Gauthier Paulin, were locking in 153s and 152s. Oh, losing the front there and just having a trailer leg. Max Nagel, but kept it upright. The guy just ahead of him, David Philipparts. Or is it Rui Gonçalves, actually? So Gonçalves just ahead of them in 8th place. And Guarnieri and Philipparts down to 6th. So just another couple of positions ahead of them. Top end of the circuit, through the waves, out of that very tricky uphill, off-cambered right-hand turn. Over the tabletop, right in front of the Monster Energy station there. Then they up on the pegs, drop downhill. You can't see how deep and long those ruts are on the run-up to that big step down. That's where Jeffrey Hurley's had his monster crash yesterday in the qualifying race. Here's Cedric Suberet on the HDI Honda France machine, having a great ride in 11th position at the moment in his wild card appearance in his home Grand Prix. As he drops downhill, a lot of noise out there. It's just 1.7 seconds separate Cairoli from Paulin. But look at Nagel down the inside of Tommy Searle. Going to be a brave man to go through there. Oh, thought he'd gone through, actually. Camera angles, how they mess with your mind. Going to go through this time. Look at that. A mistake from Tommy Searle. And no messing for the red Honda. Tommy Searle fighting back again. Going to jump long and rail round, is he? Got no choice. Oh, bar-to-bar action between these two. Fantastic. Keeping it clean, but... Oh. Max Nagel, where are you off? Nice line there as he jumps 2-1. Doesn't make the triple. These guys will be loving this. Squares him off a treat. Does Nagel. This time he's going to go through. He'll have the commanding line up there, top of the hill here in the next left-hander. Sweet move from the German. Always keeping an eye on what's going on. Tommy Searle having to work the ray around the outside. He gets the power down. A mistake from Arnaud, and he fights back. And this is for 9th place. But two world-class riders, both Grand Prix winners. In MX2, of course, Arnaud, a Grand Prix winner in MX1 on more than one occasion. But going after Rui Gonçalves, 999, the Ice One Racing KTM. Oh, and look at that, wide and deep. And Searle gets mugged there. And here's a challenge. Listen to the crowd. Paulin leads the way here. He takes lap 11 at the head of the field. Another mistake from Tony Cairoli. Just shows you how intense MX1 racing is in 2013, folks. It is providing some of the best, most intense racing we've seen in a long, long time. And Gauthier Paulin, Tony Cairoli doing their bit to entertain here in round 8, the French Grand Prix. But listen to this crowd here. It's like being at a football match. Gauthier Paulin then, 12 minutes. He knows he can't get carried away. A mistake can just easily rob him, but he knows also that Tony Cairoli, who has 58 Grand Prix career victories, going for his 59th this weekend there in the yellow helmet, number 222, the 6-time world champion. Watch this here. Tony Cairoli gets out of the right-hander, no problem. We've seen him make a mistake from another camera angle earlier on in the race. Paulin takes a slightly different line, does he? No, they follow, but watch Cairoli here. On the gas, that gives you an indication as to how slick, tricky, slippery, rocky, nadgery. Get some more adjectives in there if you can, Mailer, but tell you what, Gauthier Paulin was right there when it mattered. Cairoli has been mugged. He's now less than a second behind, but, well, it was 0.8. That's about a second now, that. There's DeSalle in the background, so he's only about, well, still 2.5, 3 seconds, something like that. Gauthier Paulin launches back downhill to a wall of noise into that bottom left-hand turn. Won motos at the French Grand Prix, Saint-Jean d'Angely, and of course at the Motocross of Nations before. So he knows what it's like to be here. And I actually get his inside line column from his management team on a regular basis as we look at Cairoli just messing up there. Look, there's Paulin going through. And he said he's actually not feeling the pressure coming here. It's like no other race. He's still got to go out, ride his best, ride 100%, get the best result possible. Doesn't matter whether he's riding at home in France or in Portugal or in Italy at Maggiora in a week's time. The feeling is still the same for Gauthier Paulin. Thought he was a little bit short there on the takeoff on the triple. That gap's, well, it was 1.6. They came over the line a few corners ago, but Gauthier Paulin, he knows now. 10 minutes of concentration like never before. Tony Cairoli, sometimes it's better to follow than to lead, and he'll try to see where Paulin is quicker out on track, see if he can do anything that will improve his own game. Tony Cairoli to find a way back. Two different choice of lines there. Cairoli is maybe slightly quicker, but a little bit tighter as he dropped down through that left-hander onto the ledge. This is another one of those corners, like that penultimate turn where you can easily make a mistake. Both riders through safely through there. Tommy Searle has found a way back past Nagel. We saw that a moment ago, so Tommy Searle in 8th, Nagel 9th, Rui Gonçalves now in 10th place, Strybos 11th, Cedric Suber has dropped to 12th, Greg Aranda is 13th. As we look on board with Clément DeSalle, actually that's Tony Cairoli, because there's Gauthier Paulin just ahead. Into the revs, easy on the gas. Cairoli is going to be ever so steady through here. This is where he made that mistake. Bop, 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 bop. Just out of there, second gear, just feathering the throttle. And then third gear, launching downhill into that final corner before coming back past pit lane and rejoining here to go back down the full length of the start straight. And again, you can see how slippery it is underneath and what the riders are having to do just to keep up right and going forward. There's Tadika in the opposite direction, coming downhill in 4th. He's 19 seconds behind this battle for the lead. Cairoli on the gas, drifting through that right-hander, trying to get the power down to get over the triple. Nice line through there as well, not getting hung up in the rut. just rolling the throttle through there, a treat. And look what it's done. It's put him right back onto the rear wheel of Gauthier Paulin. That ain't 1.4 seconds now. Both riders taking the same route. They love it. We're loving it here as well. Santtu Tienen on the 24 MX Honda just knows that there's a battle about to come through. And the guys down at the low end of the field as well. Tommy Searle still hanging on there in 8th place from Max Nagel, number 12 on the Honda World Motocross machine. Tommy Searle not giving up the fight here, and a good fight as well is from the Brit. Oh. What a battle this is. Tommy Searle, 100. He's definitely got his hands full, trying to keep number 12, the tenacious Max Nagel, behind him. Both riders going wide to get the slingshot up the hill. This was where Nagel found a way through briefly before, but Tommy Searle making sure that not going to happen again with 7 minutes to go. But it's Paulin who still leads the race, and these two closing in on Guarneri for 7th. Nothing in it between Gauthier Paulin. He takes a look over at his pit board. Doesn't need to know. Cairoli, nice move there into the rear wheel. Tries to dislodge and disrupt the concentration of Gauthier Paulin. That'll certainly fire him up, and that'll fire up the French crowd as well. But you can see Cairoli all the way down the left-hand side of pit lane as he realised that he had to square off the Frenchman. And he's going to do the same through here as well. Paulin gets hung up on the turn. The crowd are going absolutely nuts. Cairoli doesn't jump the double or the triple. Instead, he goes double single. There's that line again, round the outside. Picking up on what Gauthier Paulin isn't doing. Oh, he loses the back end, but keeps it up. Intense is the word I would use for this battle. Cairoli just losing a little bit of ground there. He's got to do it all over again. Paulin just on the gas. There's DeCarli and the rest of the KTM boys looking on. Oh, almost off as well there, losing the front end. Got the bike just running away from Cairoli into that right-hander at the top of the hill. Just needs to calm down, regroup. Watch this. Down the inside, he knew exactly what he was doing. Tried to run it hot. And Paulin, very lucky not to get on the gas and high side there, because that would have definitely handed the lead back to Tony Cairoli. And watch this, on the gas, tried to square off, handful of gas, lost the front right where he didn't want to. Otherwise, it might have been a great move from the 6-time champion. So Cairoli having to regroup here with just over 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. And the lap time here is 1:53 for these guys at the moment. Horrible holes in those ruts there coming out of that right-hander at the top of the hill. Back marker doing his best to get out of the way. I think it was Charles Lefrancois actually on the Suzuki, French wildcard. Nazareno, the mechanic, handing out the board. 51.8 the lap time for him apparently, but it was a 53.9. So which way is this going to go? Folks at home, I'm sure you've placed your bets. And I bet you've not touched your beers either as you're watching this and getting into it. These guys absolutely just setting a blistering pace out here on what is a very tough circuit. The concentration levels as Cairoli almost jumps out of the track in his pursuit of Gauthier Paulin are so intense. But Paulin just picking his lines, doing everything right here. Nicely done there from Cairoli as well, trying to keep that back wheel on the ground. Watch this, out of the track. Just inside the track then, okay. A little bit offline anyway, shall we say, for Cairoli. Meanwhile, behind these two, Searle is about 8 seconds back in third on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. De Dijker on the Red Bull KTM is fourth. Van Horbik, the second of the factory Kawasaki's, is in 5th place. David Philippart's on the Garibaldi Honda is 6th, but 6 seconds further back is Tommy Searle in 7th. Guarneri is 8th. So those two now split, Max Nagel and Tommy Searle, by Davide Guarneri. And you can see Tommy Searle, in fact, Nagel, having said that, has just found a way back past Guarneri and still going after Tommy Searle. So these two providing fireworks as well fighting over 7th place, about 5 or 6 seconds down on Philipparts at the start of the previous lap. Philipparts probably just coming in the opposite direction there. Guarneri buries it deep in the background at number 12, Max Nagel. He's in 8th at the moment. Going after number 100, Tommy Searle, the Brit, on the CLS Kawasaki Pro Circuit Monster Energy machine. Concentration levels just as high for these guys as it is for our leaders. Paulin and Cairoli there, 1.7 seconds apart. They've completed 6 laps. And you can hear exactly where they are on track as well, just over the Monster Energy triple jump, right beneath the crowd there. We've seen how easy it is to make a mistake out of here. Tommy Searle and Max Nagel both losing drive. So nothing gained, nothing lost for those two guys. Pretty much even as they go through, but Nagel looking to square off here, is he? Ito hands out the board to Tommy Searle. There's Guarneri pulling a wide line in the background, but these guys still fighting. Over 7th place. Here's Cairoli right on the back wheel of Gauthier Paulin, working their way to the final ridge here, top end of the circuit. They are 11 seconds clear of Clermont de Sal. It's going to be 3 laps to go because 1:41 on the clock. There'll still be time on the board as they go through the finish line area. And it's not the first time we've seen these two wage war against each other, is it? At least more than one occasion, at least 2 occasions actually at Agada in Portugal. One of those was this year, and then last year another mistake from Cairoli, and that might be the big let-off for Gauthier Paulin. Tony Cairoli just not getting that corner right. Fabien Issoire going through, and also number 91, Mathis Caro, as they are prepared to be lapped here. They're outside the points at the moment. But Gauthier Paulin now, look at that gap. It was 2.3 as they came over the line. Well, if Cairoli pulls this one out of the bag, that will be the fastest 3 laps of his career to close in on Gauthier Paulin and whittle down what is a 2.3 second gap. Cairoli just being left behind in the background as Issoire knows that Paulin is there, takes a look over his shoulder, realises there's Caro, immediately gets back on the race line. Caro goes up the inside and takes advantage of that, but both these guys have got to move out of the way because Cairoli is coming through. Caro would have seen the blue flag now, but he would have been blindsided as Fabien Issoire just caught him just a moment ago. And Issoire, look, trying his best to get out of the way, and Caro just goes through. But look at the gap now that's put between Paulin and Tony Cairoli. 91, Mathis Caro. Really should have yielded by now, but the STR KTM rider also in his own little battle, but he would have seen Paulin go through, and now he jumps short, and Cairoli getting held up behind him again. So I'm sure Cairoli will have something to say about that, and probably rightly so as well, because that's probably sealed and put a bit of a dampener on what should have been an enthralling contest right the way through to the checkered flag. But Cairoli had already made a mistake and was 2.3 seconds down, but even still, wasn't help there for a couple hundred meters of circuit or so. He drops downhill, 2 laps to go. 132 moves out of the way. That's Milko Podezek, the 2B Yamaha rider. He knows exactly where Cairoli is. And it's only 2.4, so it's cost him 1/10 of a second. So it just goes to show you how hard Cairoli was working, even amongst the traffic, to get through. And he knows there's still time as well. Podezek lets Cairoli through, does his best to stay out of the way. Meanwhile, there's Ken de Dijker. He's in 4th place, the big number 9, and the 89 of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek all over the back of him now. So Van Hoorbeek looking at making a last chance effort or a last ditch attempt to do something about number 9 de Dijker and go after 4th place. These guys more than 15 seconds down on de Sal, who's in 3rd. But we are in amongst the back markers. They will pop up more frequently now for these two. look at the time he's just made up there, number 89, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. This will do his confidence a world of good, actually. Through the left. Oh, Tadika just gets pitched as he came over that little step down. Cairoli has closed right back in on Paulhan. Just over a lap to go here. Too close to call, even now. Because Cairoli, one of the most supremely fit athletes out on track. So too Gauthier Paulhan. They've got to be to ride this pace for 40 minutes around this turf-demanding circuit, and a mistake there from Paulhan. And that opens the door for Tony Cairoli and sets up a grandstand final lap here in Arnaud. Oh, just what a race. Can't afford to lose any more time, Tony Cairoli. Stayed out of the deep stuff as well through the sweeper. That might have just got him a little bit more forward momentum. He's right on the rear wheel of Gauthier Paulhan. The atmosphere, absolutely electric. Cairoli, look, double single, landing round the bank, just getting the drive down. There's that sweet line that he's got through the sweeper. There's Oban on the Bill-based Honda, 131. He's in 19th. He's being lapped, riding a wild card. GP appearance this weekend. Oh, off the side of the bike there from Cairoli. He is not going to give up, is he? That's why he's a six-time world champion, Tony Cairoli. Good drive up the hill. Closing right the way in. Same line. No, takes the second one. That quickest line option through there. Just trying to figure out where he's going to find a way through on Gauthier Paulhan, because it might even come down to that corner in the background there, that little left-hander that caught out Tony Cairoli, where he might even try running it up the inside and just giving him a little bit of a love tap. But another mistake coming out of the corner there from Paulhan. Cairoli is going to pull the clutch, give it the panic rev treatment. Oh, didn't think he got down the double there, Gauthier Paulhan. These guys are on the edge of their toes here. He cannot afford to make a mistake. The most important corner on the circuit coming up now for Gauthier Paulhan. Concentrate. He keeps it line astern. Cairoli makes a mistake, and Paulhan rounds the final turn, and he is going to win the French Moto #1 here at Arnaud. And what a race that was. Great to see, guys. Great to see. Cairoli doesn't mind losing occasionally, especially when he's been in an intense battle like that. And those two are good friends, but Paulhan knows that's only half the job done, because they've got a second moto to come up. And look at that, the fastest lap of the race, 1:51.6 from Gauthier Paulhan, set on the final lap. Wow. What a race. They're not disappointed, are they? And look at that, a nice thing there for Gauthier Paulhan to ride down the start straight, just to salute the adoring fans here. And I think we'll be grabbing a quick word. But Tony Cairoli, I think, was the Athena Get Whole Shot award winner. And somewhere behind there was Clément de Searle. And I think Cairoli just venting his frustration there at one of the back markers, who he felt maybe held him up on that penultimate lap. So we've got a little bit of time to catch our breath now, but Gauthier Paulhan already thinking about the second moto. These guys will try and get themselves into the paddock as they walk back along the circuit to get a piece of their hero, Gauthier Paulhan, as he prepares for moto #2 a little bit later on. Of course, it's coming up to 2 o'clock here, so in about 2 hours' time, they'll do it all over again.
Tony Cairoli, congratulations. You are this week's Get a Tenner Whole Shot Award. Here is your check.
Tony Cairoli smiling through gritted teeth there. He knew that the whole shot was only part of the equation, but he made a couple of mistakes during the race, but he picked up 250 big ones from Get Athena for crossing the white stripe first.
retrouverait donc à 15h pour 15h01 normalement pour la revanche de la catégorie X2 et dès 14h51. Donc on ira reprendre la température.
Is it me, or has it just gone really quiet out there? Because Gauthier Paul and Antonio Cairoli really setting the scene here, and that crowd over there enjoying every single one of those 20 laps that those guys toured around this circuit. Of course, Clément de Searle, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Kenda Dijker, they were also a part of that in the early stages of the race, but they fell by the wayside as the two giants of MX1, Gauthier Paulin and Tony Cairoli, duked it out. And that's what it looked like from Cairoli's point of view. The candles were lit, and Paulin was the winner, picking up 25 points. Look at the size of that rock in that left-hander. And this is always good to see. Congratulations, boys. They know they had to work hard for that. And Tony Cairoli picking up Paulin's arm there and saluting him to the crowd. So official confirmation then of MX1 Race 1 here at Arnaud. Round 8 of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship looks like this. Gauthier Paulin, Kawasaki Racing Team, led for the second half of the race, having passed Tony Cairoli, Red Bull KTM, to win. Clément de Searle, Rockstar Suzuki was third. Then it was Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Kenda Dijker, David Philipparts on the Garibaldi Honda. And then it was Tommy Searle, Max Nagel, David Guarnieri, Rui Gonçalves, Kevin Strybos, Evgeny Bobashev, Sean Simpson, Xavier Borg, Gregory Aranda, Joel Roulant, Jonathan Barragan, Cedric Subarat, Nick Oban, Milko Potazek. Here's the interview with our race winner, Gauthier Paulin.
Gauthier, congratulations. You look seriously determined from early on, and all eyes were on the battle between you and Tony.
Yeah, I think for the French public, they can't have something else, you know. It's just, I think they're happy to see a nice battle, and in the end, I won, so I'm really happy. Yes, track's not easy, you know. You need to start good, you need to be careful everywhere, because there is rut, it's pretty tricky, but still, getting another win, it's great. And yeah, the bike's working good, I'm feeling good, and to have the French crowd behind me is just unbelievable every time. Every time I pass a corner across the public, they are just like, I don't know, how can I say, it's just crazy. I want to really thank them, and I'm happy for this first win. Now we are looking forward for the second one.
A great performance from you there.
So Gauthier Paulin then picks up his third race win of the season. Of course, he was first and second in Bulgaria, won the Grand Prix, first and second in Portugal, won the Grand Prix. He'd like to win the Grand Prix here, of course. In France, on home soil, that would certainly be what the doctor ordered, but he's still got a long way to go, another 40 minutes or so, and about just under 2 hours before he takes the line again. But so far, so good. It wasn't easy for him, was it? Because Antonio Cairoli on the Red Bull KTM was all over the back of him throughout that race when he gave up the lead, and he almost came close as well to taking it back, but just ran out of time. But credit to this guy here, Gauthier Paulin, picking up 25 big ones here, Moto #1 at home. Here's Tony Cairoli, he's with Amy, let's hear what he has to say.
Tony, you started that race extremely strong, like we saw you yesterday in qualifying. A few mistakes allowed Gauthier through. How did you feel from that race?
Yeah, like I said, the track is it's very sketchy. In some places it's very thin and not many places to pass. So I was struggling with some lap riders, and I made a mistake for changing line, and Gauthier had a good opportunity, and he go inside and he passed me. But then there was still a lot of time to go, and I tried to come closer again, and but yeah, I had some troubles again with some lap riders that. There was a lot of blue flags around the track, so they just didn't respect the blue flag, and one of them is Mats Caro. He's doing it a lot of times already, so I don't know. I think must be some rules to follow, so I think they have to give away the freeway for when they get the blue flag. So, but nothing to complain at all. I mean, Gauthier was very strong and on this home race, so. I'm happy, but for me it's important to finish always on the podium, and it was a good race, good battle. The public liked it a lot, so hopefully next race is going to be for Italy.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, and some valid points there from Tony Cairoli. Obviously can't take anything away from Gauthier Paulin. He rode a strong race and he was the guy that came home with 25 points. But we did highlight that ourselves there with Mathis Caro, and unfortunately the STR rider did get him interfere with play. But third overall was Clement de Searle.
Clement, it's been a busy time for you over recent weeks. How was it out there today?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was not so good. The qualification, I really didn't find my rhythm, and I didn't enjoy also. And yeah, first moto is much better. I mean, my start was good, and as we see, the start is really important because it's so difficult to pass. Like it's only one line, and so I start third, and then Gauthier passed me quickly, and after I find a way on Jeremy Van Overbeek, and then I was third and make a small gap. So I was riding alone almost all the races, and I hope to have better result in second moto. I send big kiss to my girlfriend because she had to stay home, and everything is good.
We'll see you in the second race.
Yeah, just a lonely ride for Clement de Searle. As he said so himself, you know, just wasn't able to stay with these leading guys, but he's going to look forward to the second race. Well, that's it from Arnaud for now. My name is Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in about an hour's time for MX2 Race 2, and of course the conclusion for MX1 Race 1.